Howdy, 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 my name is Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Prequel, or Making a Cat Cry the Adventure. In the last episode, Katia went to go check out a tomb, and everything went to shit because of puns. Let me just move my microphone a little bit. Let's see what happened here. Squiggles wrote, Ghost exit. This place won't do anymore. Go up and have an adventure with the Khajiit. BFF forever. Suddenly the Ancestor Guardian pops up from the ground. He heard you were in need of a friend and a protector. And all of the hugs. Bestest bros. The two of you take off for a wacky buddy adventure together. You will no doubt face many perils on your journeys, but it doesn't matter because you've got each other's backs. Oh, the crazy antics you guys will get into. Of course, none of that actually happens. You pretended through for a little while, imagining what it's like to actually have real friends who care about you. But the harder you try to pretend, the more it hurts to remember that you're all alone out here in the middle of nowhere. That you just screwed up everything again with one little mistake. You try not to think about it, to just keep moving forward, but you can't make the thoughts go away. It feels terrible. Maybe if you'd lapped up some of that magic potion, it would give you a bit of confidence? What does confidence even mean? Forgetting all the stuff you messed up? You could lick up some of that wine for the same effect, but no, you're not ready to do that. No matter how much you want to right now. Time to focus on other things. Squiggles wrote, are you okay? You're not hurt, and/or that glass didn't cut you, did it? You'll be okay, you've had worse. It even makes it a bit easier to forget about the poison ivy rash. General Mr. wrote, oh, and make sure that letter isn't stained with wine. The envelope got stained. You peek inside to make sure the contents are still legible. This looks alright. You took it back into the envelope without reading any of it, since you really shouldn't have opened it to begin with, but at least it's fine. That's one thing going your way, you guess. You still feel pretty awful about everything, though. Mick Frugal wrote, oh, actually, you are slightly better off. You have a satchel now. You guess? It's an upgrade over your bindle anyway, and in fact, yeah, you'll just pretend this satchel was what you were after all of... Ryu wrote, what a catastrophe. Ryu, you asshole! You hate everything about yourself. Katia, look on the bright side. Nitroglide wrote, okay, look, you messed up. There's no denying that. But back in those ruins, you did some pretty impressive stuff, and you shouldn't forget that either. And none of it mattered, did it, Nitroglide? Every time you almost did something good, it went sour. Every time you got close, it got further. Maybe you were never close to begin with. Maybe you were just too dumb to realize how hopeless you were from the very moment you set foot here. You're not a hero. You're not a productive citizen. You're not even a real human being. Boop. Maybe you just finally have to accept that your best is worse than everyone else's average. Then you could at least stop thinking you have a chance and stop making other people believe in you. In the end, nothing hurts more than being wrong. General Mr. wrote, give Katia at least some good luck. You caught this bottle before it spilled all the way. Katia, no! Crepuscular Disassembler wrote, Katia, you still need to deliver the letter. You may end up disappointing everyone, but you could at least avoid causing trouble for them. Get that to Kavash, and getting that to Kavash is the least you can do at this point. You can cry and walk at the same time, so get going. Shadow of the Lotus wrote, tomorrow will come, a bright new day, and what may come with it could be good or bad or good, but regardless of what may come, it too shall pass. Accept that these things will happen and continue to move on with your life. Pursue your goals, but always hold it in mind that you might not reach them. This does not lessen their pursuit or make it somehow less worthwhile. Value your peace of mind. The Codfish wrote, be strong, Cat. Life is hard, yes, but it's better than being dead. Just keep doing your best until you can't any longer. Even if you fail, it's better to do so knowing that you did your absolute best all the way than to know you succumb to the worst aspects of your character. Z-Nex wrote, yes, if you really are concerned about your best worse than everyone's average, then train yourself up. After all, no one became heroes overnight, am I right? Gedalon wrote, now ditch the wine, get up and find the road. I think you've had enough of an experience already. Squiggles wrote, no. You don't want to drink that, Katia. The last time you had a mishap, you drank and it made things worse. You're trying to recover from alcoholism, not continue. You said so yourself you have a problem with it. Throw the bottle away. If nothing else, you can say you did that. Magic Hats wrote, this was a bit of an adventure. Albeit a really bad one. Being sad and mopey will only make things worse. Come on, you just gotta get up and Wake up, get out there, and keep going on that quest with the letter. It'll both at least keep your mind off the depression and think about the rewards you'll get. Boop, 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 boop. You understand this is the wrong thing to do. People in your position are supposed to be strong and persevere. Throw down their bottles and keep on trucking through whatever hurdles wind up in their path. You understand that every fable of redemption says you can make a life-changing choice right here and keep on bounding towards Kvatch. You understand all this, you really do. But you just don't think you have that in you. Not everyone can be a hero like in the stories. Every failure is supposed to bravely shrug off, instead grips your heart in a cold embrace that just makes you want to curl up in a ball and never move again. You want to change, you really do. But you've come to accept that it can't be done. Some things are just a part of people, and they never go away no matter how hard that person tries to fix it. It just happens that everything about you is a problem, and all you can do about it is keep being you. The final Wraith wrote, "Though, before you take that drink, Katia, would you mind telling us what your birth name is? The one you were called back in your home country? Because I think it might be for the best if you went back to using it. I mean, you gave yourself the name Katia Mannigan to symbolize starting anew, didn't you? But I have the suspicion that you've been in this place many times before." The question strikes a nerve. You know your real name, yet it feels foreign to you. You try to say it out loud, but you can't. You're Katia Mannigan. It's an identity you made up 2 days ago, but it already feels like you. For some reason, you're just not ready to give the name up. Maybe you're not too different from who you were before, but that doesn't mean that you're the same person. Sure, you've tried to change in the past, tried to turn your life around, but you've never been Katia Mannigan. Katia Mannigan has been a screw-up for 2 days, not 2 decades. Katia Mannigan still has a chance. I wonder if it's supposed to be Katia. I'm going with Katia because Katia will probably make things burst into flame. You don't expect anyone to understand what it means for you to be Katia Mannigan. It changes everything. When you left home and came to Cyrodiil, it wasn't just the epilogue to a long, sad story. It was the prequel to something undefined. I said it. It was a new story, too young for anyone to predict the ending. Sure, maybe the protagonist isn't very skilled and has a drinking problem, but she's only been around for 2 days. Who knows what will happen? You don't know if you think you can change. You don't really know what you think at all. Maybe that's why you drink. It makes things simpler. You're sorry, but you have to do this. This is a choice you're making as Katia Mannigan and no one else. Maybe it's Monaghan. I'm gonna keep saying Mannigan. You know it's not a good idea, and that you might very well die. You just don't care. At least you think you don't. You don't even know anymore. You're a mess. You don't know how this is going to end, but that's still better than knowing there awaits a sad ending. Bottoms up. See you again soon, you think you hope. What the fuck? Well, you're alive. Assess situation. I'm proud of you. No, not for the drinking. For keeping the name Katia. It tells me one thing. You still have hope. At the time, worst moment of despair and a not so long while, you still had hope you can pull through even if you weren't fully feeling it. That's something to work with. You haven't given up. We can climb out the proverbial hole until we hit the bottom anyway, so perhaps that was the bottom of we begun climbing. Thanks. You guess it's kind of nice to believe that things can still be okay. You appreciate the sentiment anyway. Plagarath wrote, I'm disappointed. When I first looked at you, I saw hope. I thought you really wanted to climb out of your previous life and change. I thought you could do it. I trusted in you and had faith, but that's dead now. You're right. People cannot change, and you are not an exception. It doesn't matter how many times you try, you'll always end up falling back. It's useless to keep trying again. Surrender. Oedip wrote, just look at you. You had to do one thing. You had to deliver a letter. Even the lowest rung of society can do that, and you couldn't. Don't think you can turn your life around. Also valid ways of looking at this, yeah. You have some serious thinking to do about your life, and you're not looking forward to it. Luckily, you have more pressing issues to deal with right now. Like figuring out what the hell happened here. Kit Meshu wrote, Cat, take inventory. Zafa wrote, and apparently booze makes things simpler. I'll believe it when I see it, honey. Poke around for your stuff. Hopefully you didn't lose everything this time around. The final Wraith wrote, check the status of those cuts you got on your hand as well as that rash you got from poison ivy as a rough gauge of how long you were out. All of your stuff is gone. The cuts on your hand have scabbed over but not healed much beyond that, implying that only a night has passed since you got them. The poison ivy rash on your wrist has gotten a bit worse too. Something about this method of checking the passage of time feels incredibly futuristic to you, but you're not sure why. Crazy 8 wrote, wait, before you do anything, do you still have your lockpick? You already said all your stuff is... No comment. Wasolf wrote, Katia, talk to the nice skeleton manservant, please. You attempt to strike up a conversation with the skeleton, but he appears to be nothing more than a simple automaton whose only function is to clean this room. He dutifully goes about his work while completely disregarding you. If you want answers, you're going to have to find them yourself. Crazy 8 wrote, check that strange pandit thing on the oh god, it's a ball gag, isn't it? Clearly it's a pendant of silence. Yeah, just kidding, it's a ball gag. You're going to leave it there for now since you don't have anything to carry it in, and it might be kind of embarrassing to be caught walking around with bondage gear. Subterfuge wrote, take a furtive glance under the bed. Are the yo-yo and the pineapple still there? No pineapple this time, thankfully. You found that fishbowl of peas, though. Ewar wrote, oh cool, presents! It's a box of Nord chocolates. This is a rather extravagant gift, I mean for you anyway. There's a note and a bottle next to it. Dear Dear Katia, thank you for the good night. Us necromancers don't get much live action, if you know what I mean, so I'll definitely be the talk of the crypts. Though you may want to steer clear of Garlas Agia in the future, since my comrades tend to be a jealous flock, and there's a small chance they may kill you on sight. I must say, though, their jealousy is warranted. Intercourse with you was very enjoyable, and the fake underwear made it even hotter. I apologize that I could not bid you farewell in person, but the guards in the city have some questions about how I acquired several of those skulls, questions to which I lack legally satisfactory answers. Hopefully some confections I purchased next door will suffice in the place of a true goodbye. I also mixed a potion of cure disease and left it on the dresser. While I don't wish to imply anything negative about myself or my kinsmen, I will say that you probably want to drink that as soon as possible. Thanks for finding me, D. P.S. Your Argonian friend seemed rather upset when she came home this morning. I offered to help clean up the mess we made, but she still wants to talk to you when you wake up. How did you end up back at her house while shit-faced with a necromancer? Kikan wrote, keep potions, sell it for cash later. Yeah, how about fuck you? There are things in life that are more important than money. One of them is not having zombie AIDS or whatever. It tastes like pie crust and feet. Not so bad that you need to chase it down with chocolate, though. You want to hang on to those in case you can sell them later. So Dregrecum wrote, check the dresser, maybe there's clothes this time. There's just the pants that she bought for Garug. Well, and her note reminding her to buy more clothes. Ewar wrote, your future clearly lies in drunken prostitution, so get the fuck out of there and find yourself a street corner, girl. Excuse me, but there's certain things you set out to change in your life. Anyway, you've been down that road. You did alright back home. I mean, you weren't technically a prostitute, but you certainly got around. Nabbing breakfast on your way out was enough to keep you fed, other people's beds were a fine place to sleep, and if times ever got particularly rough, you had a family you could mooch off of. It was an existence. But it just wasn't a satisfying life. You always wanted something more, like an occupation you didn't have to be ashamed of, or a friend you didn't have to turn tricks for. Maybe you just wanted dignity. Skeleton's doing a good job, though. Like, look at you right now. The only other person in this house is Quillweave, who has already seen you naked and is also female. And you're wearing pants anyway, because you have dignity. A little bit anyway. Speaking of Quillweave, well, you guess the best you can do is apologize profusely, take the full blame for your miserable failure, not ask for a second chance to get out of her life forever, or try to sneak out the door. You do the window, but you're kind of apprehensive to jump out of the second story window lined with broken glass. Confront your maybe still friend. Whew. Well, at least it looks like you guys didn't wreck her haul. Cranial Heartache wrote, you're such a huge disappointment. I've never been so disappointed in my life. Stop being a scaredy cat and face her. Fuck! Okay, this cat pun thing is getting out of hand. You've got to find someone who can help you with this. You're right, though. Sneaking out would just be the cowardly after everything she's done for you. Time to do this. Subterfuge wrote, don't run from your one maybe still friend. You find her in the kitchen. You totally could have snuck out without any problems if you had tried. Too late now, anyway. Yeah. Hey, you say. Hey, she says back. You kind of messed up, you explain. In fact, you messed up pretty damn hard. You're really sorry and you understand that she's probably really mad at you. If she wants, you'll just leave right now and never come back. You'd understand. Quillweave tells you, yes, she is mad, yes, but she also wants to know what happened. You divulge the whole story. You tell her about how Garou gave you money to hire a repairman and you didn't tell her because you wanted it to be a surprise, and how it turned out to be a trick and Garou threatened to kill you and took all your stuff. You're really sad and cried a little, but you kept going towards Kavash because you didn't want to let anyone down more than you had to. But then you saw some ruins and thought maybe you could find something valuable in there so you could still buy the book. And you did find something valuable, but then there were also monsters and you accidentally set some stuff on fire and the place collapsed and you broke everything you found. And in the end you were so sad and confused that all you could do was drink. You don't know what happened after that, but evidently it involved having drunken sex with a necromancer and maybe a skeleton? Somewhere in there you even lost the nice clothes she bought you. It was all your fault and you're sorry. You should have told her about the repairman or followed her advice and stayed on the road. Everything that went wrong was because you kept trying to do a good job and failing. Maybe you're just worthless. Quillweave says she's still disappointed in you. You made mistakes that could have been avoided if you had played your cards better, and you gave up when things got too hard, but you're not worthless. You have aspirations. You really want to make your life into something better, something significant. Katia is the best wizard, has all the magics. Everyone looks up to her. She never has to be a whore. Okay, you might not be worth much now, but you're also not satisfied with who you are. Sure, you've done nothing but screw up, but your intentions were good. Everything you did was because you wanted to help make things better. You failed, but at least you tried, and that damn well counts for something. You asked if this means she'll give you a second chance. Maybe you can still get that letter to Kavash. You'll be carefuler this time. You can prove to her that you can be different. Quillweave admits that she is apprehensive. She isn't just giving you work out of pity. She really needs things done, and she really wants you to repay her for the damaged room. While she recognizes you are enthusiastic to help, you still haven't shown much success. Employing you is risky. She has to think about this. It's not a decision that can be made on a whim. Maybe you could just come back a little later after she's had time to think about it? If you can find someone in town who's willing to employ you instead, that will probably be better. Feel free to borrow the sheet until she has a chance to get you a proper shirt. You ask if she forgives you. She's the closest thing you have to a friend to explain it. You really need a friend right now. She has to think about it. You try your best to smile as you offer the chocolates the necromancer gave you. It certainly puts you closer to being forgiven, she says, but she still needs time to deliberate. Maybe reconvene in an hour or two? You agree and say a quick goodbye. You guess that went better than you were expecting. She doesn't hate you, but thinking about how much you let her down still puts a knot in your stomach. At least what's done is done. You've confronted her and told the truth about everything. You just wish you could feel better about it. Stonewearer said, turn that blanket into a cape before anything else. Well, okay, this actually makes you feel a little better. You look ridiculous, though. Rufus wrote, go to the Fighters Guild. You're a cat. It should be easy to kill some rats. Okay, have you ever actually seen a cyrodiilic rat? You saw one once at a traveling circus? They had it fighting an alligator. The rat lost, but it was still pretty terrifying. Basically, if someone's willing to hire trained fighters to kill something, it's something untrained people should avoid. Actually, maybe they were just feeding that alligator. You were like 6 when you saw it, but your point about hiring trained fighters stands. Boop. Raiden wrote, that's the spirit. However, you might want to wrap it into some sort of short toga. Yeah, you're fond of this cape, but you should probably make some effort to actually cover your breasts. How's this? That's pretty cool. Ailerin wrote, you look great. Eee, thanks! Of course, Quillweave will probably want her bedsheet back eventually. Shadow of the Lotus wrote, Katia, take some time to relax. Is there a Central Commons or a park to Cyrodiil? Maybe you could spend half an hour or the 2 or 3 hours you have right now to just take a breather. That, and you might find someone looking for workers there or get an idea what to do next. Cyrodiil is the country, not the town, but yeah, maybe it's time for a break. You find a nice little spot and lounge for about 20 minutes. Take some time to just meditate on your own thoughts. Hopefully you'll be able to find some more work in town. Even if they didn't know of any jobs at the docks, maybe someone else will have a better idea. Maybe some manual labor, something you absolutely can't mess up. If you absolutely have to head out to town again, it might also benefit you to find a traveling partner. A friend willing to watch your back. Of course, to get that, you actually have to make some friends. You keep hoping someone will talk to you, but they mostly avoid getting near you or whisper things to their friends and children when you come into view. Right now, though, you have a bigger issue that you need to tackle. Spontaneous combustion. You guess you have magic powers or something. You can't help but feel that your life might have been different if this had happened sooner. Maybe you could have built it into a talent, apprentice under one of the few wizards in Hammerfell, and had your life go down an entirely different path. You wish you knew why this is only happening now, when it's too late to matter. Well, only one way to find out. Yam Tagler wrote, go find some mages to ask about these sick fires. That seems like it should be a priority. General Mr. wrote, visit the Mage Guild, Katia. Katia? It takes you a little while to find the local Mages Guild. You're nervous out of your mind as you walk down the steps into the building. It's been a decade since you even saw a wizard, and you're not really sure what to expect. In Hammerfell, there were some pretty weird stereotypes about wizards, but you're sure they aren't all true. You're greeted enthusiastically. Zarasha! This is certainly a surprise! What are you doing all the way down here? And oh dear, you're some random female Khajiit, aren't you? Well, this is certainly awkward. What is it you need? Or some other. Consult wizard folk. Nathan Graves wrote, imitate their weird pose to show them you come in peace. Ireland wrote, he must be talking about that girl Quill we've mentioned. See if we can get some information about her. So, Zarasha? You heard there was someone in town who looked kind of like you. Does she come by here? Oh no, the wizard explains. Zarasha is just one of his Khajiit friends from up at the university. You look a lot like her, not because all Khajiit look the same or anything. That will be incredibly racist and inappropriate. That's okay, you say. It's probably just the lighting. Anyway, I'm Katia. I recently acquired some unusual magic problems. Whenever I get offended by a cat joke, even when I thought it myself, stuff catches on fire. Pavlovian Cat wrote, I know you might be apprehensive about these wizards, Katia, but you might as well just let the cat out of the bag. Skeletox wrote, to be honest, I don't give a cat's ass about these stupid puns. Kamikaze Scotsman wrote, Katia, be a good kitty and don't claw the tapestries. That would cause a big problems for you. Tamina wrote, tell the truth. Whenever the voices in your head make a cat-based insult, something catches fire. Sure, you'll sound crazy, but at least they'll probably believe you're a wizard. Mono99099 wrote, and if you don't have good results now, just go and take another cat nap and come back later. Kinda like that. You dig uncomfortably into your past and tell the wizard everything. You explain that you've never been able to use magic despite trying your hardest to learn how when you were younger. When you started to get really frustrated, your parents even had you tested by some wizards. They said you'd never be able to use magic, but they didn't know why. One of them suggested it might be a treatable disease called astral vapors, but even the most expensive medicines didn't help you. You've kind of tried to forget about that time in your life. Sometimes fires would start around you, but you figured it was caused by someone or something else. But then yesterday it started getting worse. The fires got bigger, and yesterday you almost got killed because of it. You guess the fires got worse after you touched this sparkly blue thing you found in some ruins. It was kind of a dumb, impulsive move on your part, and you promise you won't touch any mysterious magic things in the future. The wizard strokes his lack of beard thoughtfully. He said it is quite the puzzling predicament, but he has a theory. He needs to know when you were born. You give me your full birthday, 8th of Sun's Dusk 413. He tells you to wait here. He has to check the library for a book. He also wants to see if his amulet collection is still here. If he's right, he thinks you'll like what he has to say. Just give him a few minutes. With the wizard out of the room, you let your arms down to rest for a bit. You choke out a nervous laugh and tell the elf woman that yesterday you were still genuinely convinced that people needed a long beard to use magic. She tells you that's very silly. Wizards work with open flames all the time. For a magic user to even consider having facial hair, you'd have to be mad. Frankly, she wouldn't even use magic if she had fur. Not to be racist or anything. You tell her it's okay, you understand. General Mr. wrote, ask for a job. A simple one. Maybe even just gathering alchemy ingredients from outside town. You confess that you're also a bit short on cash. They're looking for a way to earn some spare spending money. Or eating money. You'd be very interested if the guild needs anyone to run errands or collect plants in the field outside her town. She says she can't think of anything they need right now. They've mostly been doing research and the occasional healing job that the chapel can't handle. The roads are relatively safe as of late, making ingredient collection a rather enjoyable and scenic activity. The coast in particular is beautiful this time of year. Occasionally, other people do stop by the guild hall looking for more, to get more unusual ingredients, of course. Oh, how opportune! There's Matt. He's a chef who specializes in traditional Argonian cuisine, which he understands is spiced with poisons that will be lethal to most species. He stops by every once in a while to buy more ingredients. Hi, Matt! Don't forget to wipe the marinara sauce off that kitchen knife. He's probably a necromancer. What a nice boy. Hannibal, since we have the triple our prices for some reason, was selling to Matt, so maybe he'd be willing to buy ingredients from you if you're interested. You tell her that's okay, you think you'll find someone else to work for. She says that's fine, it's your choice. Anything else she can help you with while you wait? Disregard the obvious assassin. McFrugal wrote, do not follow Matt. Seriously, you don't want to get in trouble with him. He is very obviously an assassin. Crazy 8 wrote, don't follow Matt. That would lead to more unsufferable cat-related pun about curiosity. We don't want to start more fires. Ice Storm wrote, I agree with not following Matt. That's just asking for trouble. When you ask for trouble, you get trouble. Yam Tagler wrote, wait for that one feller to get back. That seems like the most prudent course of action. SoundCloud wrote, Katia should not follow Matt. Onamar wrote, do not follow Matt. Shulm wrote, okay, now that I think about it, think of it more, curiosity did kill the cat, so let's not follow Matt now. Ewar wrote, yeah, let's not follow the blatant assassin. Arbok wrote, just stay and keep chatting with the nice wizard. General Mister wrote, do not follow Matt. Fidus Spawn wrote, you don't follow him whatsoever unless you are immune to poison and daggers verse. Vici wrote, whatever you do, do not follow the guy. Healy wrote, kinda pay no mind to the chef and or murderer that just walked by. The Fauna Wraith wrote, just try to pretend that Matt doesn't exist. Who is this Matt of which you speak? There's nobody in here but you, the elf, and the wizard. That eye twitch, though. Shadow of the Lotus wrote, Katia, ask about local jobs or for what natural foliage and other plant materials would be worth the most to collect. You continue to chat with the elf lady while you wait for the wizard to return. You lie and say that you already have some folks lined up who are willing to purchase ingredients from you, however, you have trouble recognizing which plants are worth the most. You're wondering if she has any good resources on alchemy you could borrow. She replies that she knows a bit about alchemy herself. For her standard 50 gold per hour training fee, she'd be willing to give you some basic lessons in identifying useful ingredients. You tell her you can't spare that kind of money right now, but she refuses to budge on the price. She can't just spare the time without compensation. She has too many important experiments going on right now. Like this thing. It goes back and forth. But for how long? Before you have much time to admire the swingy ball thing, the wizard returns and asks you to come with him. He found exactly what he was looking for. You uneasily follow him into the next room, unsure of what to expect. First things first, he wants to lend you an old trinket of his. Put this on. It's an amulet of silence, he explains, as in an actual enchanted amulet, not the slang term for a ball gag. Not that I'm saying you'd be familiar with BDSM jargon just because you're a Khajiit. That would be an incredibly racist thing to imply. It should solve your fire problem. You can still speak while wearing the amulet, but you won't be able to use magic until you take it off. Needless to say, it's been involved in quite a few practical jokes, most of which ended in the joke victim getting killed. In fact, forget lending. Maybe it's best if you keep the amulet. It'd be good to get some new fingerprints on it. You thanked the wizard for his gift, but confessed you were hoping to learn why this was happening to you, not just suppress it. That's why he needed your birth date, he explained. See, sometimes when magic talent first manifests in a person, there is some spell discharge before they learn to control it. Usually if this was going to happen, it would have happened when you were a child, which made your case rather unusual, but then he figured it out. You're an Atronach. You ask him what he means because you've got no idea. You were born under a constellation called the Atronach, or Golem. The stars often have some small impact on people's lives, but none so great as being born under the Atronach. You handle magicka differently than most people. While their bodies produce magicka, yours absorbs it. In the past, when you were unable to use magic, it was probably because your reservoir was depleted. When you touched that blue sparkly thing, which he suspects was an ancient Eyelid Magicus well, it fully charged you up for what was probably the first time in your entire life. Judging from your display in the lobby, you're perfectly healthy in terms of magic ability. Many people will say that because of your birth sign, you're destined to become a powerful mage. This is a lot for you to take in. You're more than a little distraught that your life might have gone down an entirely different path if you learned about your birth sign earlier. Like, if you hadn't avoided reading about astrology due to being irrationally afraid of the Lord constellation. You're just not sure what to do about this now. Part of you feels like it's too late in your life to simply start learning magic, especially when you can't afford any kind of training. But at least you know there's nothing really wrong with you like you once believed. The wizard says what you do now is up to you, not to be racist, but he admits that magic can be difficult for Khajiit, especially getting a late start like you are. It's not impossible though. In fact, that close Khajiit friend he mentioned, Zarasha, was just a bit younger than you when she started. She has rapidly progressed to one of the most respected positions at the university. He thinks you'd get along with her really well if you ever end up enrolling. The two of you could probably become best friends upon your first formal meeting. You said that sounds very nice. You always wanted a Khajiit friend. No racism intended. Human friends are fine too. You're not sure the university's really an option for you though. I mean, you never really identified as a mage or scholar before. You're pretty sure you couldn't do anything like that. He tells you that your problem is a lack of confidence. And if being the head of an arcane university has taught him anything, it's that there's only one cure for lack of confidence. Robes! Seriously, up at the university, we give them out for about anything. It's like, hey, you found a soul gem, take this fancy new robe. The kids love it, I love it, everyone loves robes. Why, I remember when I was a young lad in High Rock, I'd always wear my mother's dresses around the house pretending I was a wizard, also a ballerina. My parents were so worried. It was awesome. In fact, you know what? We're going to go back and find you a mage robe, something that can give you confidence. Come on. Acerbic Aves wrote, hooray! I got in this time. Silifuge wrote, I really like both of Abe's designs, especially the green one with the hood edition. The shape and hue of the blue one is nice, and I really like the brown mantle too. Here's one that takes bits from each, plus a Colovian hat because I can't get enough of them. It's my last one, I promise. It looks wizardly. That still feels strange to you. You never really thought of yourself as a mage. I guess you never really thought of yourself as much of anything. Your own reflection feels foreign right now. It's adorable, though. Like a stranger on the street. She looks like someone better than you. In a way, it's like you're meeting that mythical Katia mannequin for the first time. That person you've been striving to become. Seeing her behind that glass is strangely inspiring and a little scary. You're almost afraid you'll be a disappointment to her. This is silly. It's just a fashionable new robe. You'll try not to like it too much, since loving things tends to guarantee their destruction. You meet the wizard back in the lobby of the guild hall. He says the new robe looks very nice on you. The colors go well with your fur. You say thanks and thank him for giving it to you. You're just not sure what you're going to do from here. This whole magic thing is all very sudden and a little scary. You still don't have any friends you can turn to if things get out of hand. He assures you that if Khajiit mages are anything like real ones, you'll be able to figure things out on your own pretty well. When you have enough money to afford professional training, every city has a mages guild that will happily offer their services. Each one has to specialize in a different branch of the magical arts. For instance, down here they specialize in healing and other restorative spells, making it one of the few places that is safe for Carahill to conduct her very important research on the effects of snorting bone meal. Over in Skingrad, they focus on destruction magic. Up in Corral, they teach conjuration, and that's pretty much all the nearby guild halls you need to know about. He has work to get back to, but if you have any other important questions just before you leave, he'd be happy to give you a quick answer. I think it's probably a good stopping point. We'll ask those questions in the next episode, because I think it's, in terms of updates, I've gone through about 11 days. So, this has been Anachi Sasuke. This is episode 4 of Let's Read Prequel. In the next episode, we'll see if Katia actually asks any questions, and then she'll be on her way with her new wizardly clothes. So, if you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description if you want to read the comic, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.